I finally found my old diary. It wasn't the way I left it. I wasn't prepared for how much of my childhood would come flooding back when I found that old diary in my parents' attic. It was buried in a box of forgotten toys and faded photographs, smelling faintly of mildew and memories I wasn't sure I wanted to revisit. The cover was faded pink, the kind you could tell had once been vibrant, with the word private scrawled in messy glitter pen. It should have felt nostalgic, but as soon as I picked it up, an unease settled into my stomach. The weight of it, the texture of the worn leather. It was all familiar, yet wrong. I hesitated before flipping through the pages, half expecting to be met with the innocent ramblings of my 10-year-old self. Crushes, school drama, maybe some badly drawn doodles. And at first, that's exactly what I found. Until I got to the entry from March 17th, 2007. My heart sank. The page was wrong. The handwriting wasn't mine. At first, I thought maybe my older sister had gotten a hold of it back then to prank me. She was always teasing me about my deep, dark secrets. But the handwriting wasn't hers either. It was jagged and uneven, like whoever had written it wasn't used to holding a pen. And the words, they didn't make sense. I hear you. I see you. You shouldn't have looked under the bed. I slammed the diary shut. The attic suddenly felt smaller, darker, like the corners were pressing in. The air smelled different now, damp and old, like something had been left to rot just out of sight. I told myself it was a joke. I had to have written it, even if I didn't remember. Maybe I was trying to scare my sister, or I'd been sleep-deprived. I tried to laugh it off, but my hands were trembling. Still, curiosity got the better of me. I opened the diary again, flipping past the creepy entry, trying to put it out of my mind. Then I saw it. The next entry was dated March 18th, 2007, but I hadn't written it. You heard it last night, didn't you? You felt it. I told you not to look. The attic creaked, and I swear I heard something shift behind me. I turned so fast I nearly lost my balance, but nothing was there. Just old boxes stacked high, dusty furniture covered in sheets. But for the first time, the attic didn't feel empty. It felt like something was watching. I snapped the diary shut and threw it back into the box. My heart was pounding so loud I could hear it in my ears. I was 10 years old in 2007. I barely remembered anything about that year, but now I felt a cold, gnawing sensation in the pit of my stomach. Like I should remember something, but my brain was protecting me. I took the box downstairs, diary included, and asked my mom about it over coffee the next morning. She squinted at me like I'd grown a second head. "Why on earth would you still have that?" she asked, confused. "It's my diary, from when I was a kid." "No, I mean that's not your diary." I blinked. "I found it in your room years ago. I thought it was a gift from a friend or something. You were so obsessed with it, but then you got scared. You begged me to throw it away." My stomach turned to ice. "What do you mean? I don't remember that." My mom stared into her coffee. "It was strange. You wouldn't let me touch it, but you didn't want it near you. You used to cry about it. You said it made noises at night." I couldn't breathe. I tried to laugh it off, tell her she was joking, but she wasn't. Her face was deadly serious. "I finally threw it in the trash," she added. Or at least I thought I did. That's when I realized it was no accident I'd found the diary in the attic. It wasn't lost. It had come back. That night, I lay in bed staring at the box where I had stuffed the diary. I could hear my parents watching TV downstairs, the sound of muffled laughter and commercials filtering through the walls. Normal, comforting sounds. And yet, my body wouldn't relax. I kept picturing that jagged handwriting, those words that weren't mine. At some point, exhaustion took over. I don't remember falling asleep, but I remember waking up. The room was dark, silent. Something was off. My blanket had slipped halfway off the bed, and the air felt heavy, charged, like the quiet before a thunderstorm. And then I heard it. A faint, scratching sound. My breath caught in my throat. It was soft, inconsistent, like tiny nails dragging across paper. It was coming from the box. I lay there frozen, my heartbeat slamming against my ribs. My rational mind screamed at me to ignore it, to go back to sleep, but something deeper, something primal, whispered, "You already know what's happening." I don't know how long I lay there, staring at the ceiling, barely breathing. The scratching continued, a slow, methodical sound, like someone writing, like someone waiting. Eventually, the sound stopped. I told myself it was a dream, that I was half asleep and imagining things. But when I woke up the next morning, the diary was no longer in the box. It was on my nightstand. And there was a new entry. "Now you remember. Now you know why you were afraid. Don't look under the bed." I haven't touched the diary since. It just sits there, waiting. But I swear, sometimes I see the pages move, even when there's no breeze. And last night, I woke up to the sound of rustling paper. I think it's waiting for me to write back.